on to the next NBA topic, which is Joel Embiid. Always injured. Joel Embiid. Love him as a player. Always injured. Joel Embiid is out for the season with a knee injury. Toddy, what are your thoughts on your Eastern Conference rival? They're down bad.
Hang them up.
It's time to pack it up. Philly, it's over. It's been a good ride. Had the process years, Ben Simmons, Brett Brown. I don't know what more can we do here. I feel like it's run its course. I think it's time for a fresh start. I've seen people say that he should retire. I don't know if it's that bad. The Sixers are filing for like a medical emergency or something like that, saying that that Joel could be medically retired so they can get some of the money back that is already owed to him through his contract, which is kind of crazy. I think it's a lot going on. A lot going on right now. And I think everything that they did in the offseason, trying to acquire Paul George, or not trying, they acquired Paul George, got rid of Tobias Harris, and Tobias Harris has been playing noticeably better than Paul George. Given the money that Paul George is going to be owed over the next, I think it's 3 years, kind of makes me think that Steve Ballmer must have knew something that we all didn't know. He looks like a damn genius. I mean, from where the Sixers are at and to where the Clippers are currently at, I think it's just time for them to kind of blow it up. You'll get a haul for Joel. Now, I think medical is going to play a huge role into it. How bad is it?
If Mark Williams is physical, Joel Embiid ain't passing no damn physical.
Yeah, I don't know how bad it is, but I think you can get a lot for him. The question is, what else are you going to do with the roster? Do you get rid of Maxey? I think Maxey's
that's all you got.
I think that's their only really good piece, because they're going to look at Paul George and they're just going to just scour and just stick their nose up at you. And who would have thought that 2-3 years ago? Yeah, if you would have been like, you want to trade who? Paul George? Sign me up. This 2-3 years ago. Now it's like I can't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Also saw another tidbit on OKC has next year's Sixers pick, top 6 protected. That is insane.
That's the true reason they're setting him down. They said we need forward to win. We need that pick.
I think, and it's very possible that OKC could get that. OKC gets that pick, man. That, the rich get richer. I think it's just you got to blow it up. I think it's just you tear the walls down in Philly. Now I know Philly's celebrating the NBA or NFL Super Bowl, but on the basketball side of things, I think their only bright spot of this season was Jared McCain, and he had that flash in the pan. He was hooping, tore his meniscus, so out for the rest of the year, which hurt because he was probably going to win Rookie of the Year. But I think just this team right now is just, it's gone all as left as it could go. And I think a huge reason of that, obviously, is Embiid just not being able to get on the floor. He already came out before the year and was like, hey, we ain't playing back-to-backs. Sorry, I don't know what y'all want me to do. We ain't doing it. Paul George's kind of been in and out of the lineup, but he's just been bad. He had to quit his damn podcast. He's been playing so damn
Taking a break.
So,
man, I thought that, like, before NBA Central got shut down briefly, they tweeted about it, and then they got shut down. And I guess the Twitter gods or Elon, whoever, was like, "Oh, now you're tweeting factual information. It's time to go." But Paul George, literally had to step away from his podcast. Had to take the game more seriously.
I don't like. What could you do with this roster? You can't do anything. Like, they're sitting them out. They're sitting out. Like Kevin kind of mentioned a little bit briefly just now, a couple of minutes ago. They need that damn 6. They need that pick. They are starving for something. positive out of this season because it's just been so bad. Yeah, I think Joel's time. We might have seen him play his last game in Philly.
Okay, in Philly. For a second, I thought when you were saying like pack him
He's
up
not retired.
last
He ain't
game.
getting him $1 back.
Yeah, that's fair. But Alex, as another Celtics fan and having the Sixers as a sometimes rival of Boston, just what are your thoughts on Embiid being out for the season with a knee injury?
Well, let me just state this. Joel Embiid, I thank you for your service for your Team USA performance and giving us a gold medal. I'm glad he didn't get injured then. That was his last rodeo. He is done. I'm really getting tired of these teams blowing up their teams, trying to get super teams or creating super teams, and they just fail. And then you just have to start literally ground up. Like the Suns are in the same position, but the Suns are getting overlooked because the Philly experiment is just so bad. And like trusting the process, you can't trust the process for 10, 12 years and get not even a conference final out of it. Like it's getting a little ridiculous. I do feel bad for the 76ers fans. I mean, they've been through it. They've been through it with Ben Simmons, and then they had just Joel and his injuries, and so I feel bad for them. But yeah, he should be out for the rest of the year, and he should probably retire. But he got us a gold medal, so shout out to Embiid, and shout out to the person who got him a U.S. passport.
Yeah, apparently though, Embiid said he never wants to play for Team USA ever again.
That's fine.
He got his gold medal and he did.
It was definitely one time. It was like him and Steph. One time and we're done.
Yeah, I'm fine. We're probably gonna lose in 28. That's okay though. We got 24.
Yeah, Victor's
coming for our throats.
Yeah, like
yes, he's coming.
You guys saw the end. You guys saw the end of the Netflix documentary where like they left it on like a cliffhanger where it was basically like the beginning of a villain origin story. Like,
yeah, it's scary.
Victor,
it's gonna be spooky. Yeah, he's gonna beat our ass, and I'm okay with that. But we got our gold in 24. So.
We need our guys to turn into guys. We need Zion Williamson to turn into something. We need all the guys that have
Zion will not be on my Team USA. No.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, you're not Grant Hill.
Oh.
I don't know if you made that call.
Well, Kevin, before we
let Zion play 3 healthy seasons out of the 4.
No,
he's on the
I'm
US.
Done with Zion. I'm done with Zion.
He might sit out one of the damn games, Kev.
Brother,
load management in the Olympics.
Insane. That's what Kawhi would have done if he would have played.
My gosh.
For sure. And so, Kevin, before we get your thoughts on this topic, I just wanted to highlight one other YouTube comment from Kaz where he said, Embiid will just be another potential great. I don't know if I would necessarily say that because he has won an MVP. But when it comes to what he could have done on a team success level, yeah, the Sixers, like even when you look at Ben Simmons in his prime, like when I was advocating for him on Shaun and Jaevon will never let me live it down ever. But Ben Simmons had a good run for like 3 to 4 years, and he was alongside Joel Embiid. And, you know, they messed up Markel's shot, as J. Cole said, all these different things. But, Kevin, what are your thoughts on Embiid being out for the season with a knee injury?
You know, I say a lot of bad things about being a Kings fan, about how hard it is, about how bad it is. At least we've always been ass. You know, we had our 2 years of being good, and then we've just kind of been mediocre. But the process went from Joel not playing to Ben Simmons becoming Ben Simmons, the next LeBron James, to Jimmy Butler, to the doink, and how everything could have changed if that ball bounced out. And, you know, a lot of things just didn't go their way. Like Shaun mentioned.
Was the team. That was the team.
Yeah, that was the team.
They had Redick, they had all the depth. That if any team was going to do it, because that means they would have played the Warriors in the final. Yeah,
and as we saw, I mean,
Warriors.
Yep, exactly. That was the team. If they were ever going to do it, that was the team. And also, just one thing I want to follow up on what you were saying, Kevin, is like my friend Matthew Pearson, who I mentioned earlier, who's an Eagles fan. He's also a Sixers fan, and he's a Philadelphia Phillies fan, and so he suffers constantly. So I was glad to see him at least enjoy some Philadelphia sports team. But go ahead and finish your thought, Kevin.
It's hard, man. I couldn't imagine. You know, they it's crazy to think that you can see a draft photo of them having Mikal Bridges on their team and traded him away on draft night. Like they had the pieces, they had the James Hardens of the world. They've tried everything to make this work. And Toddy kind of said, where do they go now?
James Harden was on the 76ers.
Yeah, they've had a lot of guys. PJ Tucker was a 76er. Like, they've had a rotation of guys. And they've always been just a little short. They've run into teams like the Heat who had their magical runs, the Kawhi Leonard Toronto Raptors. Like, they've always been so close, but it's always been an injury here, injury there. Truth be told, if I'm the owner, if I'm cutting Joel's checks and they say Philadelphia 76ers on it, you're not playing Team USA. You didn't give me 60 games, brother. You didn't play enough to be eligible for an award, but you want to go play for a medal in a country that you weren't born in? Nah, brother. I'm sorry. They're going to have to keep Kawhi.
Now it's Team USA fault?
I'm just saying, bro.
Hey, don't be blaming us.
I'll tell you what. If he had Steph Curry and LeBron on his team, he'd be playing.
Who wouldn't?
I'm just saying. And he limped his way through USA. And that should have shown that he shouldn't have been out there. But what was he doing?
Trying to get a gold medal.
Out there getting booed. Having a blast. Winning a gold medal.
We can't have these other countries beating us.
Well, France is going to do it in 2028, as we already alluded to.
Definitely.
There's a lot of things wrong with this Philadelphia Sixers team. And it's not just Joel Embiid's fault, but it's easy to blame the superstar. It's easy to blame the guy who told us to trust the process, like Alex said, for the past decade. And you have one conference finals to show for it. It's like...
Not even one.
That wasn't a conference finals with the Doink?
No, that's the second round.
Oh, yeah, Joel's never been to the third round.
They never made it.
You're right, because I remember the USA photo. He's the only guy in there who didn't make it to the third round.
Yeah.
And to follow up on that too is like I see all these memes across X all the time where it's like this happened before Joel Embiid made a conference finals. This happened, like literally name anything. This happened. John Cena turned heel before Joel Embiid.
GTA 6 to the conference finals.
Exactly. GTA 6 is going to come out before Embiid goes to the conference finals. So it's crazy.
I don't know what to do if I was a 76ers fan. Like I mentioned earlier, you got two good young guys in Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey. At this point, I'm going to tell Tyrese, you got a girlfriend, take a trip, brother. You're not playing the rest of these games. We've tanked before blatantly, and we're going to do it again. You're not playing. Go get a podcast. Go do whatever you got to do.
You already got a podcast.
Don't show up to the practice arena. Don't show up to the games. Everybody on the G League team, you're getting 10 days and you're going out there. We are not giving the Thunder our top 6 pick because what in the hell would we do if they got that pick?
Kev, can you kind of explain to what the what this kind of means? Because I don't know if a lot of people.
So it's top 6 protected. So if it falls, obviously 1 through 6, it's the 76ers. But if they get 7 through whatever, it's now the Oklahoma City Thunder pick. So it's not like football. So football, the worst record gets the first pick. And I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think it should be the same in the NBA because it's kind of fucked that the Pistons have had the worst record and always hit the 5th pick. Yeah, it's like
crazy.
I get you don't want to benefit.
I
get you don't want to get benefiting for losing, but it's like, how do you expect them to get any better?
Yeah.
So, then every team will try to get the worst record.
We get more talent.
No.
Could you imagine the Panthers?
You know how many teams will be taking
without Bryce
now?
Young? Just. I just think if you're going to be at the bottom, you should. Or if not the lottery system, they should do something else. Like maybe a lottery like the top 5, but there's no way like I said, for the Pistons, for them to have the worst overall record 2 seasons in a row and get the 5th pick.
I mean, they did pretty well.
That's why people say this shit's rigged because the San Antonio Spurs got the number 1 pick. Could you imagine K with Victor?
Victor Wembanyama would have went nowhere else besides the Spurs. Stop it. And I called it.
Well, it's rigged. That's what I'm getting at. He should have been a Piston. He should have been a Piston.
But my thing is you need to still draft well. The Kings are ass because they never.
We don't get the
drafted
number
well.
one pick, Alex.
I'm not saying you guys
hard
get the
to
number
pick.
Yeah,
one.
but we got number 2 and we skipped
Yeah,
over Luka.
we got up there. We
Okay,
got
but the conversation's about
back,
number one.
please.
All right,
Please.
increases all the time. Well, it's truly hard to fuck up the number one pick. You have everyone on the board. It's hard to fuck that up.
The Cleveland Cavaliers got that number 1 draft pick a few years ago, and who was he? Do you
Anthony
guys
Bennett?
remember?
Anthony
Oh
Bennett.
yeah, 2013, Anthony Bennett. Never forget.
Not a few years ago.
It's hard. If you mess up the number 1 draft pick, that's because the draft sucks. Truly. And it's just a guessing game.
Well, the last year draft pick wasn't that great, but you had Jared McCain go at like what, 19?
Ricochet.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You
I guess
really,
you need that, but I mean that's
really,
also a bad class, so it's hard. But I'm talking about like this year's class.
Michael Jordan
always
should have been
scored one.
drafted over Shaun.
I just think it's because I mean it's more beneficial. That's the way to get the game to be most equal because the worst teams are getting the best young players. Versus
but it
the
all
Spurs.
works out in the end.
Versus the
The
Spurs
Pistons
2
are-
years ago getting Victor and could possibly have 2 top 3 picks. How the fuck is that fair?
Well, and
But that's a whole
just
other
to-
rant for a whole other time.
Well, exactly,
Yeah, but Ted talking
and
to you.
we've talked about this in our various group chats too. But like once Victor was ruled out for the rest of the year, and we're about to get to the Spurs next with Greg Popovich, that Kevin was saying, "Oh my God, like the Spurs, are they going to tank right now? Are the Spurs going to end up getting Cooper Flag next?" Like that would be so unfair. And if the
I would hate
Spurs
that.
somehow ended up with the number 1 overall pick, that would just be absolutely stupid. Like
I would love that.
ridiculous.